You guys can find the submissions tab there. But Gila, explain to our listeners about that connection between sexuality and creativity as you see it.
Okay, great question. Yes, the way I see it is our sacral chakra or our sexuality is related to our creativity, and I think the best way to explain it is through an example. Once we tap into our pleasure, into our sexuality, we are reclaiming our power and we're able to become more creative. For example, when I really started to go after my desires, whatever they were, I began writing poetry, and I never had written a line of poetry before. I mean, I might have when I was in school, but never on my own. And it wasn't just something like just expressing my emotion or something I was really feeling heavy and I didn't know how else to do it. That was a part of it. But the other part was became like divine downloads. I suddenly was getting all these divine downloads that I had to put this somewhere publicly because I didn't even know what the reasons were. And that creativity didn't ever really show up in my life until I started going after it and still experiencing my full sexuality. So I believe there's a real treasure trove for many women and men, but specifically women because I am a woman. It's a part where we can create children, obviously, but it's a creation of everything that you really desire. A business, change in your family life, whatever it is that you desire is possible. And I believe it comes from within your body, specifically that area.
Definitely. You're making me think of a piece of it that ties in. So when I think about sexuality as it's connected to creativity, I think of course, of energy. It's all energy. So sexual energy is creative energy and vice versa. So when you first of all, even figure out what your desires are and then begin to really give yourself permission to feel them, get in touch with the body to do that, it opens up this channel of energy, of connected energy to creativity. And it really is, I think, quite a magical process to begin to connect to it and realize how it's tied and how everything intertwines with each other, and then getting into that unlimited creative flow. Again, I use the word magical a lot because that's how it feels to me.
It is magical. I think once you really get into that creative flow, that even that sexual energy, whether it's, I would advocate first within yourself. You feel magical. You feel this surge of energy that you're unstoppable. And and it affects your entire life, it affects your kids. It affects the interactions you have on a daily level. I was even talking to a client today and we just started having a conversation and she felt connected to me. And I said, I love you as a person because you are unique. And she felt like I wasn't being honest to her, but that it was honestly how I feel, that every person has these unique, wonderful, amazing qualities, and it's just a question of seeing that you are an amazing person, and I don't know, I'm just getting all fired up about it. It's just really exciting for me.
It is. This work is transformational, right? You know it, I know it, we've experienced it. We've experienced it in our clients, and it really is difficult not to want to run to the mountaintop and shout it to anyone who'll listen. So, we're talking a lot today about something I am really passionate about, and that is listening to your body. And so tell me what that means when we listen to our body, and why it's important in terms of this erotic self-love that you're talking about.
That's a really fabulous question. For me, what that means is to really fully experience pleasure. There's a little bit of a caveat there because usually there needs to be some healing that has to occur. And our body is constantly sending us messages of pleasure, messages of desire, messages of fear. And we need to think about, or we need to kind of feel into that. Like, why, what's going on? Why are we feeling this particular sensation at the moment? What is that reminding us of? What are we afraid of? What's holding us back for really going after and getting what we desire? So depending on what my body is saying to me, I have to interpret what these messages are. And the more in tune I am with my body, the more pleasure I'm going to feel. And for me, that's, I guess I'm a bit of a hedonist, but really I run after pleasure. I really want to feel good. I believe I can feel joy on my own with whoever I'm with at the moment. When you're in the now and you're really fully present, that can be you can be in a consistent state of joy. And if you're not in that consistent state, what's holding you back? What can we do? What is your body telling you that we can figure out what's going on so we can heal you, and you can continue to go into a higher and higher vibration or energy level where you're experiencing that state of joy.
And I think what gets people stopped up is that we work with a lot of people in a serious amount of chronic pain, both mentally, emotional, post-traumatic types of pain, and there's this beginner kind of step to everything we're talking about today. I honestly think that this conversation is another level of awareness, and the ability to learn the language of your body and intuition takes a lot of practice. And what comes before that is maybe the baby steps of feeling pain. And the Brene Brown quote, if you're numbing your pain, you're also numbing your joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure the listeners understand that Gila and I really want you to give yourself permission to feel everything, including the not so great feelings, because that's the door to the joy she's talking about. What do you think about that, Gila?
Yeah, really, you're right. I didn't go into that space, but you're correct. I think this pain, this bodily pain that we feel is telling us something. It's giving us a lot of information, and it could take time. I think it's a process, and I like your feedback on this. And that because I know you deal with this more on a daily level than I do, but it's really feeling into what's hurting you. Like, even if it's my leg is hurting me today, like, why is it hurting me? Like, going back to what's going on there. Is it going to go away? Like, how can I take care of it? What message is it telling me? Is maybe there's some sort of trauma that occurred in my life that I have this ongoing issue with my leg.
Yeah,
So,
in my world, feeling is healing. So when we help people, we guide people into that feeling. A lot of people have learned not to feel, really. And so they haven't practiced listening to the body messages because they're constantly trying to numb them up, ignore them, stuff them, put them somewhere else so they don't have to deal with them. But the reality is to really feel the healing process, the joy, the full love, the full on everything that you want to go for, you have to move through the pain. And the idea, I think, is that with awareness, we then have a choice. It's not like we need to get stuck in there. And we have choices to move beyond. And then I love hearing you talk about, you've just really aimed your life at going for more of that joy, more of that desire, more of that pleasure. Yeah, we all have a choice to do that inside of the awareness. It's so important.
yeah, totally. I was just also thinking as you were talking about this, on a daily level, my daughter, she's young. She's, about 14. So her body's always giving her messages, hormones are changing, and she's growing, and she's telling me all the time something hurts, and I'm like, okay, I hear you. And I'm trying to work through that with her. And, we'll even go to the doctor because she wants to. And the doctor will say, well, there's really nothing wrong with you. And to be honest with her and to give her, to also be fully present with her, I have to acknowledge what she's telling me. And I think part of also what we're talking about is to fully acknowledge our pain wherever it is, no matter who we are, no matter what age we are. Because even though we're growing and changing, that can be part of our pain as we're it's growing pains. I think at any age, whether we're 25, we're 14, or we're 50, it doesn't matter. We still have different growing pains, and it's up to us to at least, once we're aware of it, like you said, or at least are acknowledging it, it's actually, we're going forward in that acknowledgement and our awareness to find out what it is that's really bothering us, or what it is that's really happening with us.
Yeah, you're teaching your children some really amazing, important tools, right? So, hey, you guys, if you just joined us, I am talking with Gila, and you're going to find her at wildwritersheal.com. And I hope you will go after this and pop onto her website and read more about all the amazing programs and things she's offering in this realm of erotic self-love. It's quite a powerful realm to play in. So I wanted to kind of continue what you were saying, Gila, and, I've been practicing trusting my body and the wisdom there and using the messages that I get as a guide. Actually, I consider it a speed dial to my intuition. Talk to me a little more about how that's helped you too. Like, how do you know when you feel something that it's your intuition talking?
Wow, it's a great question. Let's see if I can articulate that well. So I just have a feeling. Usually, my intuition actually tells me when there's danger and when things are feeling good. And so the way I can discern that is it's just how can I put this? It's when my ego or my other self, my fearful self is talking, it's usually a pattern that's happened, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't do this because. But when it's my intuition, it's just it's a just do it. It's like it just tells me what is the truth behind it. And I can even be in a fight with somebody. For example, my son. Maybe I'm in a fight with a family member, but my true feeling behind that, once I'm tapping into my body and I truly feel it, I know that there's love there, and I'm at a place now where I can express that. So I believe actually my intuition is usually very positive. It's always about love, and it's only when there's something that's not right do I get a feeling. So it's mostly a feeling. It's not necessarily a detailed informational message, but it's a feeling I get that I can trust. And I guess I'm at a point where I can discern whether it's ego or not. And I think the ego for me, or the when it's not my intuition, it means that I'm able to figure that out because it's a previous pattern that I've had, or something saying to stay away from something because of a previous situation. But my intuition wouldn't say something like that. It would just tell me whether to go or not go.
I love that. So I immediately want to ask you, what's your very favorite tool? So, back when I was really learning about intuition, I had a coach help me, and we would have discussions like this, and there really are some amazing tools to enhance your awareness and help you get in touch with this body wisdom and intuition and this sort of knowing that Gila and I are talking about. So, Gila, what's your number one favorite tool for helping people practice this connection?
Actually, my number one favorite tool is to feel into their heart. Sometimes my clients are unsure about something. And it was actually something that's taught to me by one of my coaches, my first coach, actually. And whenever I'd have a question for her, she's like, what is your heart telling you? And whenever I'm in a quandary or in a situation where I'm really unclear about what my next step is, and maybe the step is just, I don't see it yet, but I just feel into my heart of what's the message that I'm getting. And it instantly clears up any confusion. So I would say that would be my number one go-to.
Feel into the heart.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna laugh because you already know my favorite